Hello and welcome back to my garden for 2024. I'm going to take you around very quickly. We've just had Easter, so about a week ago, so into April now. Hasn't been any frost for about 2, maybe 3 weeks. We've been really mild here in Suffolk this winter. I think even over the coldest period, I think we maybe had some -5s at the absolute worst. But it's been absolutely soaking wet this winter. Half the garden's been waterlogged, as I think I mentioned before in a previous video. So we'll have a little look. You'll see this bed is doing absolutely fine. The trachea is looking good. Mahonia soft is good. Daylilies are all coming out. I bought another Akebia, the cream variety. The ground, you'll see, has all been mulched as well in a lot of the beds. I've still got a couple of ton bags out the front that I'm going to carry on doing some work with. The barbecue area is still where it was this time last year, I think. I'm going to get round to doing more of that this year. That's one of the jobs. The water butts are all nice and full though. That's one joy of having all of this rain. Turn around to the oval bed. Everything here is looking good. The Tetrapanax has been coming out in leaf for at least a month now. I think my birthday was in March, and it was mid-March it was coming out into leaf back then, so romping away. It's got a few bits obviously where I need to take back the dead, but all the Crocosmias underneath are all doing good. Even the Canna Tanny is starting to sprout. The lilies in there are all coming through. Then over onto the raised bed here. Not much different here at the moment, except you will notice a rather large Phormium. This was a lovely freebie, and I was like, I can't leave that to go. I've got more than enough space for it in this garden, so it's jumped up here to help start filling this bed out. And then this is going to be where this lovely Arbutus Unido is going to go. The trachea over here is doing good. Let's walk through this bed. The Choicea is all looking good, a little bit yellow at the moment. And then we'll go to the pond in a second. This bed is looking a little worse for wears. Rabbit ripped up half the garden, but you'll see the darker leafed cannas starting to come through. The Achilleas all coming through. These are terracotta coloured ones. The little Chimerops is doing okay. This bit down here you'll see has been weeded to a degree. It's already starting to pop back up. Daffodils have all been and gone. They were lovely this year. Need to get out and deadhead them all. Then the bed from the greenhouse, the Akebia here is looking fantastic. It's just starting to come into bud, so that'll be out in a few more weeks in a sea of maroons. Heucheras done fantastically. Already got the Centurias out. The roses are looking healthy. You'll see this is where most of the mulch went, down here. We've got the dark elders. They've all gone and done really well, come back this year. Some more rabbits digging, so I need to fill those holes in. And then a new addition. This is Eucalyptus crucifera, I believe it is. It's one of the smaller eucalyptus, grows to about 10 meters at most. So, you know, still a big tree, but much slower growing because it's not quite as big and vigorous, and I can keep it pruned down. The acers are looking fantastic. The bamboo is looking okay. This is still, feel like it's still struggling from having a year in a pot in the 30-degree heat for weeks and weeks without me watering it enough, and it's just never really picked up. But it's doing better than this one, which is really not looking great, but we'll see. Give it some more TLC, maybe it will come back. Rejigged this bit actually in front of the bamboo. So we've got the black mondo grass around the edge, then I lifted up some carex and divided that around the back there. This was after when I went to Italy last year was up in the lakes, and I saw basically every time there was a massive clump of bamboo, especially Phyllostachys varieties, they would have a big strappy grass in front of it, almost to kind of hide where the bamboo and the ground meet. So I thought I'd give that a little try, give it a little bit of an edge. The blackbirds have had a go at ripping it up, the rabbits have ripped it all up, but we'll see. And then the peanut smelling plant, I can never remember the name of, is doing okay. We've got some more lilies here. The crocuses, the rabbits ripped up and ate them all, but they've regrown back, but we've just not had any flowers again. This border is an absolute state. Haven't got down here yet, and I probably won't do. You can see these are some gravel boards that I bought for a project that actually just got lumped on the ground here, so that we had somewhere to walk without getting absolutely squelchy feet. So heading back up the garden the other side, the bed over here, the Aucuba's doing fine, the Daphne's doing good, and you'll remember last year down here I planted a Clematis ormandii. That didn't make it last year, along with the Akebia. When I planted, I just didn't get enough time to water them, and they died in the incredibly dry March and April we had. I have got another, so that will be going in very soon, especially as the forecast at the moment is very good. I don't think there's signs of frost or anything, but you know, we're still only early April, plenty of time for it. There's bits and pieces in here of things that have been healed in, roses and all sorts, so I need to basically cut this all back, and I've got some big mounts of compost that I've produced last year that I basically just need to get rid of. So this is going to go on here, and this is actually going to be a squash, pumpkin, runner bean kind of bed, just to try and keep the weeds down with something that's going to grow really vigorously and not require too much attention. Quick look in the greenhouse. We've got our early potatoes doing very well, carrots in pots doing very well. I need to start thinking about thinning them out soon. Most of the things are out in the garden now in pots, but we've still got a few things. We've got the cycad over the back. I really need to get that out because I'm just not watering it enough at the moment. The phoenix is coming out of the pot and is going to go in the ground. I know it's probably not going to survive long term in the garden, but I do need to think about maybe it survives 10 years. So I need a space where it's going to be able to grow into for that. The silk tree is just coming into leaf, so that needs to come out now. The canna in there is doing fine. Various fuchsias that we've overwintered. And then something which I didn't think I would buy is a euphorbia. Mostly because, as I say, our garden gets waterlogged. But this is, I've always wanted the John Phillips Pasteuroi cross, and we was up at a garden centre and they had cross Pasteurii, but it wasn't labelled what variety it was. It came in as an unknown variety, and I thought, you know what, it looks great either way. I'm going to get it and just keep it in a pot. Catiana variegated, sown, nothing come up yet. Amaranthus is just starting to come up. And then we've got some borage and comfrey. Melons, I'm going to give melons, that's the variety. Areva F1, we'll give them a try, see how they do. So, up to the pond end, you can see I've got my Arbutus anido down here, that's going to go in the ground soon. The Ligularias are all coming out, looking fantastic, as is the hibiscus, just starting to come into bud. There we go, so that's going to do alright. The Schefflera is getting ever wider. It doesn't seem to be getting much taller. It's now about 6 foot, but that's just getting more and more stems on it. In the pond at the weekend in my waders with some nice new long arm gloves, pulling out all of this oxygenator. There is bags of it. Thalia delbata though is doing fine. The lily down there is doing fine. The Xanthodecia white giant, which was kind of centre where that bit of weed is on its own, I think has died. There was a pot that was about there and I can't see anything in there. However, I will probably just pick another one up, they're not too expensive. Coming back round to the walkway over here, black bamboo is still doing fine. This one, hopefully another season in the ground, a lot of water this winter, it will pick up. The Ligularia and the Crocosmia is all doing fine. I have planted a white giant down here, plus another Rheum palmatum over the back there. Basically just something to help kind of fill those gaps and pick up and go from the Crocosmia up to the bamboo. As we come through, on the left here, I've moved some Persicaria that I had overwintered as some offcuts, and they have taken. And if I get under the trees, my Gunnera has made it. So as I say, this is early April. Everyone else will be posting pictures of Gunnera leaves that are 3 or 4 foot across, or maybe almost already. Mine is, I'll put my hand next to it, about 3 inches across. So nothing crazy at the moment, but hopefully, you know, it will pick up. The loquat tree here is doing fine. I do want to prune it back a little bit, mostly because these are getting very long and it's actually quite, you'll see in the wind here, it's moving quite a little bit. The Conionograma, I think it is, has survived the winter by the looks of it. I don't have any new shoots yet, but it is definitely there. And I've just noticed the very first new shoots of my begonia. And then we've got a Hosta Blue Angel over the back there, has done fine. Here's the Clematis ormandii though. This is the Snowdrift, so slightly different colour to this very standard one. The Fascicula bicolour is all doing well. The Cherry Blossom, stand back so you can see it properly, is looking absolutely fantastic. It is kind of almost at the point where it's at its best, and then it will very quickly turn to brown mush, but it looks fantastic for the moment. The back end of this bed, the Euchres have got a really good stem on them all now. The Fritillaries have kind of been and gone. The banana, the Musabasju clump, is starting to shoot new leaves again. The Waggy over there has got a good sized trunk. It is most definitely the fastest growing palm in my garden at the moment. The main idea for this year is to get this area sorted. So the Miscanthus giganteus, my wife very kindly spent an hour or so and gave it a good cut back. All the new shoots are starting to come through, and I realised that it had basically enveloped the oil pipe. So our oil tanker is behind this fence. This pipe runs here and under the patio and into the garage to the boiler. And this pipe basically about there disappeared into the Miscanthus. So I've dug a trench all the way around, taken out 2 builder skips worth, because it was about a foot all the way around. You'll see this rock is basically showing where the Miscanthus had grown up to. So it had grown from here and it was all the way out to there solid, and it was down about a foot. So I've taken that all out, started to mulch around here. This patio area will probably just get some love with some pots and pieces again this year. The Bootia is doing fine. It's actually got quite a few new shoots coming through, some new fronds coming through. And then you'll see I put in a few heucheras. They were cheap at Dobbies, or cheap for Dobbies I guess. I think they were about £4 each over winter, so a few of those and some self-seeded Equilegias just to fill the front of the border. And yeah, that's it. So I've done this in multiple parts, so we will see how long it is, but hopefully not too long for you guys. And while I think of it, the eucalyptus is going to be getting another prune because it is getting close to the power cables. So that's it for this time.